The moment the ejection handle is pulled, the seat is launched out of the aircraft in roughly 0.3 seconds. The system is only used in extreme emergencies, when the pilot determines that the aircraft is no longer controllable or a threat cannot be avoided. In such situations, ejection becomes the last option, allowing the pilot to escape with the seat to survive. This 0.3 second process is not only rapid but also highly dangerous, as the pilot is subjected to extreme G-forces and intense airflow at the same time. If the body is not properly controlled, the high-speed airflow can cause serious injuries to the arms and legs. In a life-threatening situation, the pilot activates the ejection system by pulling a handle typically located either between the legs or above the head. The handle is connected to a safety lock through a system of linkages. This mechanism ensures that the system only activates during a genuine emergency. Under normal conditions, it blocks the signal, preventing accidental deployment. In an emergency, the mechanism allows the handle movement to pass through to the firing unit while simultaneously activating the restraint system. This system secures the pilot's body. Leg garters tighten, and arm restraints automatically engage. As the seat leaves the cockpit, it encounters extremely high airflow. This can injure the arms and legs, so restraints hold the arms in place while the headrest stabilizes the neck. At the same time, the pitot system activates to measure airspeed. Once the pilot is properly secured, the firing unit activates. The handle releases a spring-loaded striker which drives the firing pin into the initiator cartridge, creating a micro-detonation, similar to a firearm. This reaction generates a controlled gas impulse rather than a projectile. This gas impulse travels through a pipe to the sequencer unit, which acts as a distributor, triggering multiple systems in a controlled sequence. At this stage, the pilot is still enclosed inside the cockpit. The transparent cover above it is called the canopy, built from multiple layers of polycarbonate for high strength. First, the sequencer sends a gas impulse to the canopy system. Explosive bolts installed around the canopy contain pyrotechnic charges. When triggered, these charges ignite rapidly, releasing high-pressure gases. These gases produce a low-density detonation that generates a shockwave. This shockwave then triggers the main explosive charge, causing the bolts to separate from their mounts. Once the bolts release, the canopy is immediately blown away by the high-speed airflow. This process is known as canopy jettison. The modern fighter aircraft, an alternative method is used known as the miniature detonation cord or MDC. If you look closely at the canopy, you'll notice zigzag patterns. These are embedded detonation cords. When triggered, they shatter the canopy into fragments, clearing the escape path instantly. After the canopy is removed, a second gas impulse is sent to the sequencer to the catapult system. This signal is delayed slightly compared to the canopy signal to ensure the canopy has fully cleared. If both systems activate at the same time, there is a risk of the pilot colliding with the canopy. The seat is positioned within two guided rails at the rear. It moves along these rails while two separate systems provide the required force. First, the catapult system activates. It is mounted at the center of the seat in a cylindrical form and contains multiple telescopic pistons. The impulse from the sequencer triggers the initiator cartridge at the top, producing a small explosion. This generates gases that move downward and apply force on the piston. As gas pressure builds inside the chamber, a ballistic latch uses this pressure to act on the piston, unlocking the catapult system. Under normal conditions, this system keeps the seat locked to prevent any uncontrolled movement. Once unlocked, the piston starts moving upward due to gas pressure. However, this alone is not enough to eject the seat. As the piston moves slightly, a port opens, allowing gas to reach and activate the secondary cartridge. The secondary cartridge generates high-pressure gas, causing the telescopic pistons to extend one by one. First, the first piston, then the second, then the third. This sequential expansion produces strong upward force, moving the seat along the rails. The rails guide and support the seat, preventing it from spinning in the initial stage. This process completes in about 0.2 seconds after the lever is pulled. Although this force is not enough to fully eject the seat, it generates around 12 to 20 G. To understand this, if a pilot weighs 80 kilograms, then under 20 G, the effective force becomes nearly 1,600 kilograms. This is why injuries can occur in some cases. Once the seat exits the rails, solid rocket motors activate, these provide a strong upward thrust. They operate for only about 0.2 to 0.3 seconds, but within this time they lift the seat to a significant height. At this stage, the seat has been ejected, but the real challenges begin. When the seat exits the cockpit, airflow speed can exceed 620 miles per hour. This airflow directly hits the pilot, which can make the seat unstable and cause it to spin. Under such conditions, the arms and legs can be injured, which is why proper support is provided to the body and neck. After ejection, the sequencer sends a third signal to the Drogue gun. This unit is located at the rear of the seat and contains a parachute packed inside a cylinder. When the Drogue gun fires, it ejects a metal projectile at high speed. This projectile is connected to the parachute, so it pulls the parachute out, which then deploys immediately due to airflow. This parachute stabilizes the seat, preventing spinning, and helps reduce its speed. Once the seat is stabilized, the separation sequence begins. The sequencer fires explosive bolts which separate the pilot from the seat. As the pilot separates, the seat begins to fall due to its weight. This motion pulls out the main parachute mounted above, which then deploys due to the airflow. A survival kit is also attached to the pilot. It includes sensors to monitor speed and altitude, along with a radio communication system and essential survival items. If the pilot ejects above 15,000 feet, the main parachute deploys after a delay. Otherwise, the descent time would be 0-0 ejection is a critical condition where the pilot is very close to the ground and has only about 2 to 3 seconds. In this case, rocket motors rapidly propel the seat to around 200 to 300 feet, after which the parachutes deploy in sequence, allowing time for stabilization and safe landing. After landing safely, if the pilot is in enemy territory, survival training becomes critical. This includes staying hidden, establishing communication with the base, and managing available resources. In some cases, international agreements allow the pilot to be returned after interrogation, but such situations are rare. I hope this explanation helped you understand the system clearly. We created original animations with a small team, so your support is important. Thank you.